Right, remember that the equation for a straight line is y equals mx plus b. Okay, we've seen that before. We used it when we were doing our tables. Straight lines can be written in that form, and we can read off the m, because remember the m was yesterday, we worked out that that was the gradient. We did rise over run. Remember doing that? There it is again. There's the m. And the b, the number that's usually on the end there, is the y-intercept of your graph. Okay, so if we have an equation in that form, we actually can use that to draw lines as well. But before we do, there's some questions here. It says for practice, just for practice, in these 8 questions there, we want to practice reading off what the gradient and the y-intercept is. So the gradient is whatever the number is in front of the x. So for the first one, in front of the x to 3. So m is equal to 3. The b is the number usually on the end, not always, but it's the number that doesn't have any x with it. So it's the 7. Okay, let's try question 2. Or maybe I'll ask some people. Let's start with you, Bella. What's m?
2.
Good. Clayton, what's b? So the m is the number in front of the x, the b is the number without. Yeah, the 1. Good. Ashton, question 3, what's the m?
4.
Yes, and Jack, what's the b?
4.
Yes, but also minus 5. Don't forget, when there's a minus sign, you have to include that as well. Will, for question 4, what's the m? Might give you a bit of a tricky one here. Very good, 1. Because there's no number there, it is a 1 in front of that. And Jake, what's the b? For question 4.
4.
Very good. All right, you get the idea? Have another try. Let you have a minute. That's all you should need to finish off those other 4 there. What is m? What is b? You can have fractional numbers. How'd you go? You all done? Okay, so it's that easy, okay? So if we can read off the m and the b, then we're going to use that as a third method on how to sketch lines. Remember the methods we've learnt so far? The first thing we used to sketch lines was a table. I gave you the rule. I said, all right, here's some x values. It was usually -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. And we fill in the table, and then we plotted the points that way. The second method we used to sketch straight lines was the x and y intercept method. You go, when x equals 0, what do you get? When y equals 0, what do you get? And that found those 2 points on the axes that we could just join up. Okay, this is a third method. And the questions on your test will ask you to use certain methods. Okay, so you have to know what each one is. So this first example here, I guess, is the wordy example because it's got a step-by-step explanation of what we're going to do. Okay, the graph that we're trying to draw is y is equal to 2/3x plus 1. Now we just practiced, we know that the m is the 2/3 and the b is the 1. Okay, we need those 2 numbers. So it says, step 1, plot the y-intercept. Okay, and it says there, that's the b in your equation, okay? So I go to my y-axis. I need some numbers on here. Let me just add a few numbers before I go. I go to my y-axis, and my y-intercept is 1. So put a dot, y-axis, at 1. Right there, orange dot. Always do that one first. Second step is that we want to do the gradient. The gradient, remember, is rise over run. Do you see how I have a fraction there? My gradient is 2/3. The top number is going to be the rise, and the bottom number is going to be the run. Yeah? But you need to start from the orange dot. That's why I needed that one first. So from that dot, I'm going to rise 2, so I go up 2, which is where the 3 is, and then I'm going to go 3 spaces for the run. 1, 2, 3. And I always rise and I run to the right. The only time you ever run to the left is if you have a negative number. I'll show you one of those. Okay, so that's it. Once you've got those 2 dots, the next step is just to get your ruler out and draw a line through them. Nice and neatly. Okay, ruler. Oh, that was a bit low, wasn't it? Maybe I should delete that. I need a better one than that. That's better. Remember to make your line a little bit longer than where the dots are, so you can put your arrows on the end. Okay, so we're going to practice that over and over and over. Oh, you've got that drawn down? There it is, in case you're still finishing that. All right. Here we go. Question number 1. I have got y equals half x plus 3. So the m is equal to the half and the b is equal to the 3. Okay, it's just reading those straight off the equation. You're going to need some numbers on here every time you do this. So quick little add some numbers. Hopefully you're getting pretty quick at that. We've done it a few times now. All right, which number do I start with? The 3. Always start with the y-intercept. So y-axis, put a dot at the 3. Then my gradient was a half. So the top number is the rise. I want to rise 1 and run 2. Does that make sense? So from the 3, rise 1 and run 2 puts my second dot there. So I'm starting here, you go rise 1, run 2, and you do second dot. Yes? Okay, and then ruler. Okay, part B, as I said, over and over and over again, till we're really good at it. What's m for this next equation? 2 over 5, good. What's b? -1, excellent. Okay, so with some numbers on there, what number do I start with? Okay, so I go y-axis, dot at -1. It's always the y-axis, okay? We never start on the x-axis. It's called the y-intercept because it's the y-axis. So y-axis -1. Gradient is 2 over 5. So I'm going to go up 2, so from this dot, 1, 2, up, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I'm going to have to run out of room, but hopefully you can approximate what that extra space is going to be. It's going to be about there. I think there's a couple of questions in your exercise as well, and my grid paper is just not quite big enough, but we will do our best. Okay, and join it. Okay, let's try the next one. Part C, what is m equal?
3 over 4.
The -3 over 4, good. And what does b equal? 2. Okay, let's put some numbers on there. Okay, I start with my y-intercept, which is 2. Y-axis 2. Put a dot. Oh, this one's too small as well. Oh well, we'll do it. My gradient is 3 over 4. This hasn't happened before, it's minus. So all my gradients so far before this have been positive, which means we rise and we go to the right. Okay, when it's negative, we're still going to rise, but we're going to go to the left, because negative is that way, okay? So we're going to go up 3, 1, 2, and our imaginary space up here 3, and then we're going to go 4 spaces, 1, 2, 3, 4, right to the end over there. So let me put 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4 would be about there. And a ruler. the ones on your test, I will make sure that there is enough grid space. Okay. Part D, what is the gradient? Yep, what's the y-intercept? Very good. Now, I start with my y-intercept, and my y-intercept is -2. I put a dot. Normally, for my gradients, I have a fraction, because I need a rise and a run. But I've only got a 5. If you have a whole number, whole numbers are always over 1. Because 5 divided by 1 is still 5, right? So that then gives me a rise and a run though. I'm going to rise 5 and run 1. And it's positive, so we're going back to the right again, okay? Rise 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and run 1 to the positive side. Ruler. Okay. So you have got a few things here to do. This is your turn now. This first page is just doing what we were doing at the beginning of the lesson, just what is the m, what is the b. So you're just going to go m equals -1/3, b equals 1. Okay, that's that first question done. All right, so you've got a page of that, and then after that, here comes all of the graphing ones. We'll adjust like I showed you. Okay, so you need to get up to, there's quite a few of these. Look at them all. Lovely, lovely, lovely. End of page 39 is where it ends today. We might not quite get all the graphing ones done, but you should be able to get at least, you should get that whole first page done. You should probably get at least 2 of the graphing done, maybe even 3.